Hello, everyone. So, I'm jumping in today because I wanted to talk a little more in detail about, what it means to find home within God, within Christ, within the divine, when there is wounding around home, when there's generational trauma, mother wound, father wound, um, and how that can truly, renew, restore, and heal you. So I gave, an in depth kind of explanation of the wound around home and, what it entails in another video. So I'm not going to go into that in this video. I'm going to focus just on like the solution that is finding home within your higher power. And yeah, the realization that I came to around that after trying to find home everywhere else, right? Trying to find home within other people, trying to find home within work environments and jobs and, even physical locations where I lived, which you might think is kind of ironic because obviously if you live somewhere it's your home, but I hope folks understand what I mean when I say that. Um, yeah, I'm speaking to more so like finding an anchor and the the only way to truly ever, feel at home and to heal parental wounding, foundational wounding is to be anchored in something greater than yourself. And what happens when you begin to do that is the sense of safety and trust and provision, right? That home and parents and family systems provide um, can all be found within God, can all be found within the divine and the most high. And I think I said this already, but I'm going to say it before. It's actually the most sustainable place to get it because you know that that's not going anywhere, right? The reality of the situation is that as human beings, we are mortals. No one's going to be here forever. And so, your parents are going to leave the earth, your siblings are going to leave the earth. If you are married, anything can happen to your partner. If you have children, anything can happen to your children. And so having home anchored in things that are temporary, right, um, is dangerous, right? Because if those things are no longer present, then what are you going to do? And so anchoring yourself, right, finding home within God is just one of the most powerful places to do it. It's literally like having a well rooted tree. And as you know, it's a process, right? If you have wounding around home, mother wound, father wound, you probably also have trust issues, and you probably also have issues around, right, developing healthy relationships. And so the anchoring in God and Christ that I'm talking about is building a relationship like any other relationship. And so it's not going to happen overnight, right? It's going to be a process. It's something that's going to take effort and learning and your evolution and development, right? To get to know God as an entity, get to know God as, God and, the all knowing, all being, creature that God is, and then finding safety and trust and love within that. And once you do that, which is something that I'm still working on, once you do that, it makes it a lot easier to find home within yourself, because as you become more aware of the nature of God and you develop that relationship, you become more aware of yourself. You come to an understanding of who you are as a function of God, of the Most High. And so you can then, build the confidence and everything else that's required for you to really feel firmly rooted within yourself, to find safety within. And yeah, I haven't found any other solution that is sustainable, right? That will stand the test of time. It'll stand against just the fickle and changing nature of the human experience. And so I would say best way to get started with that, if that's something you want to attempt to do, is reading scripture, right? Getting to know the word, which is how you really get to know the nature of God and Jesus. And from there, I would say praise and worship, right? Which is just honoring the nature of God. And as you begin to do those things, other things will become more apparent for you, right? And so it's one of those situations where you kind of have to take that first step for the second step to appear. And as you find home and sanctuary in God, like, it literally will transform your entire being, your entire life. Like, everything else around you will begin to shift, because you are, number one, stitching up a wound and you're healing yourself. And then you're also going to begin to change how you view and relate to other people, right? Kind of going back to that codependent symptom, where, like, you might have felt aggrieved by certain people, right? Because you wanted them to fill the void of home and they quite didn't fill the void of home. As you start to shift in this way, how you view other people and your relationships with them is going to change, because you're no longer going to hold them to the standards that you were once holding them to, right? You're no longer looking for home within them. And because you're not looking for home within them, and you're not holding them, responsible for something that they'll really never ever be able to do, how you relate to them is going to shift dramatically. And so it's really going to empower your relationships and make them over for the better. And so there's so many different benefits to this solution, and to, like, choosing to walk this path and heal yourself in this way. And those are the things that have just come up for me. Again, I'm still, like, on this path in real time, so I'm sure I'll learn more as I go, and I'll bring more back to the table as I figure it out. But that's really what stands out for me right now, and I hope that this is helpful for folks who are tuning in. Thank you for joining me today.